Hi, and welcome. You're listening to the X22 Report. My name is Dave, and this is episode 1183A, and today's date is January 20th, 2017, and the title of the episode is Trump is Inheriting a Fake Economy That Will Be Collapsing All Around Him. Let's get into the economic collapse financial news. Now, today we can see Donald Trump was sworn in. He's the 45th president of the United States, and the elite, well, they're getting nervous at this point because now he is taking control, and there's going to be a lot of truths coming out from what has been really happening. And what we can see right now is the economy has not changed. Now, the reason why we've been tracking what the economy has been doing is because we don't want this to be a surprise when the system comes down, because we can see what is happening already. When the system comes down during Trump's term, everyone's going to point the finger and blame it on Trump. Now, the reason why we've been watching this and tracking it every single day, and people didn't understand why this had to be done, because we can look back over time to show the progression of how this economy was falling apart, how the numbers, the unemployment, the GDP, the retail numbers, the housing numbers, how they were all manufactured to make it look like the economy was doing well. And who actually did it, how they did it, how the student loan numbers that we reported on yesterday, how they're completely fake, how they've been faking them for 8 years. And of course, they're blaming it on a glitch. Actually, they're going to probably blame a lot of this on, well, it was an accounting error, it was a glitch, it was the weather. And the reason for this is when this system comes down, we want the blame to go where it should have gone in the first place, that the economy never recovered. The central bank, the Obama administration, completely created an illusion to convince us that the economy was doing well. And now what we're seeing in the economy is that things are rapidly deteriorating. I mean, really, if we're at 4.7% unemployment, why is the holiday season terrible? Why are people getting laid off? Why is retail contracting? Yes, even online. Why is this? Remember, these stores have online presence. They will accept your order online. You don't have to go to the store. And if this was the case, that everyone was going to online, then why is the entire business going out of business? It makes no sense. And what we're seeing right now is that the United States is not the only country that is being hit with terrible retail statistics. We see the UK, their core retail sales plunged 2% month on month. This is the biggest drop since May of 2011. Now, UK Chancellor Philip Hammond was speaking at Davos, and he said that inflation was picking up, and that put a damper on consumers this year. They really didn't spend that much. But what we're seeing right now is that that's not the only reason. We're seeing a lot of things deteriorate very quickly. Actually, in London, homes under construction last year dropped to the lowest since 2012. Developers have a record number of unsold properties. Purchases of homes currently being built fell 22%. And what we're seeing right now is that there was a surge in unsold properties. And this is the highest since 2009, and it surged to 14%. And what we're seeing things deteriorate, not just here in the U.S., but it's going to spread to every single country because we're all part of this private Western central bank system. Now, many companies are coming out with their earnings. They're telling you that everything is great. IBM, for one, is saying they beat their expectations, and on the surface it looks fantastic. It really does. But when you go through the numbers, you see a completely different story. IBM, well, it's using the oldest trick in the book. It lowered its effective tax rate, which it did once before, and it moved up their earnings. It looks a lot better. And they brought it down to 9.6%. And this is the lowest in the company's history. Now, applying more a more realistic tax rate to IBM, what do we see? Well, that means they missed expectations. And we are seeing that they have 19th consecutive quarterly drop in a row. And when we look at this and we look at IBM revenue year on year, we see that it's absolutely awful. I mean, they're showing, going all the way back to 2012, negative 3.5%, and sometimes it dips higher, sometimes it dips lower, but it's been around 3 to 4% in the negative range for all this time. And this tells us they're not doing as well as they are saying. This is just accounting trickery. Obama, well, he's leaving us with 9.3 trillion more in debt. So he took office 8 years ago and he ran the debt up 9.3 trillion. The increased debt incurred under Obama equals $75,129 for every person in the United States who had a full-time job in December. Now, under Obama, we can see it went up to 9.3 trillion, which is a far more debt than was accumulated by any previous president. It equals nearly twice as much as George W. Bush, who brought the debt up 4.8 trillion. So it's just gotten worse. It hasn't gotten better whatsoever. We see something very interesting coming out of Yellen. She's saying that the pace of the labor market improvement has now slowed appreciably in the past couple of years. Really? In the past couple of years, we've come down to 4.7%. What she's actually doing right now is she's setting it up, saying that the economy will start to deteriorate now. We're heading into a period of time where the economy is not going to be doing as well. And most likely this will fit into her data. They won't raise interest rates, and we can see that they're going to bring the economy down under Trump. Now, David Stockman's out there, and he explained that Trump already has the deck stacked against him because what he is inheriting from Obama is one gigantic big fat bubble. He said, in effect, he is inheriting a very bad hand of bubble finance from the Fed and massive debt on the fiscal front. I don't think the Trump administration is even halfway prepared for the monsters that they're going to confront that are in the deep swamp in Washington. One of Trump's first acts in the Oval Office, Stockman says, is to get Janet Yellen's resignation. Have her removed. Steve Forbes recommended to do the same. And what they're saying is have Janet Yellen resign and set up the Fed to take the fall for what is about to happen. And we can see right now that this economy that Trump is inheriting right now is built on a lie. And lies always fall apart. It all depends on who's going to take the blame for it. Now, Obama left office where he left and said, I left the economy perfectly well. It's chugging along. It's fantastic. Now, most likely, people are going to believe that this is true. Now, we've been tracking the economy for quite a while. We understand that the unemployment rate, the GDP numbers, the retail numbers, the housing numbers, corporate profits, well, that's built on massive manipulation to make the economy the way they wanted it. And here we are today, where everything is coming to a head. So what does this mean? This means, most likely, during this year, don't know when, the central bank, well, they're going to get prepared and ready to bring down this economy. And when they do bring it down, it's going to be painful. We're already seeing the beginning of this, where the economy is starting to implode on itself because we're starting to see a lot of individuals get laid off. Companies are cutting their workforce, trying to keep themselves profitable. We're seeing the holiday season It has deteriorated to the point where it can't improve right now because people don't have jobs. If people don't have jobs, they're not going to be spending in retail. We see the housing market. It is slowing right now. Look around on Zillow or Trulia or any of the real estate websites. Take a look at neighborhoods. You can get a sky view, and you will see that most of the homes, they've been on the market for quite a while. And the people that have been selling them, they have been lowering the prices every day, trying to get rid of them. And what we're seeing is the beginning stages of this entire system collapsing in front of our eyes. And it's going to get worse and worse as time goes on. And the central bank, they're prepared and ready to blame this all on Trump. They have their scapegoat. Now, Trump is trying to counter all of this, where he's trying to shift the blame. He already knows that this economy is not going to do well under him, because you can't take this economy with this amount of debt, with this amount of problems, with lies and illusion, and just turn it around. It's impossible. You really need to reset it. You need to default. And that's what he does in his businesses. If the company's not doing well, he goes bankrupt. It's a reset. Wipe everything out. It wipes out the debt. Boom. Let's start this thing over. And that's what this country is going to go through. But it's going to be painful. It's not going to be easy. And this second wave that's coming up, the first wave was in 2008. Now it's much worse because they added a lot more debt. They built it on an illusion. And those people who felt it in 2008, well, the second wave, other people are going to feel it, because these people who've been in these high-paying jobs, they're going to start losing them. And I don't want anyone to lose a job and go through the agony of trying to live every single day. But what we're seeing right now is that this is going to happen. People are going to have a very rough time. It's going to be very difficult. There won't be any jobs for quite a while. We're going to go through pain for quite a while, because there's no other way really around this at this point. The system has hit the top. It's at the end game, and there's nowhere else to go. So people will feel the pain. They won't understand what's going on because they're going to be snapped out of this illusion, and it's going to be very difficult for many people. And people are going to get upset. People are going to be angry. They're going to want to blame someone. They're going to want their heads on a pitchfork. And it all depends on who is going to be blamed for this. Now, Trump is trying to trap the central bank. The central bank and the elite are trying to trap Trump. No matter who gets blamed, the system is still coming down. Listen, everyone, thanks a lot for listening. Be well, be safe, and especially be prepared. Thanks a lot.